What's good, y'all? It's your boy L with the Dreads. You feel me? Back at it again on nothing but facts, where I give y'all nothing but the raw, uncut truth. You heard me? Listen, man. Today's video. Shout out to my boy Zuru, my boy, my guy. Sent me this. I mean, he didn't send it to me right here, but I seen he sent me a story on Instagram, basically on Shaq talking about, he was on a podcast talking about 3 ways humans are like how humans are manipulated by what you read, what you see, and what you hear. And this is like basically the basic functions of how to teach someone. Teach someone. You don't learn anything without listening, watching, or reading something. It is literally the basic function of learning anything, damn near anything in life. You gotta have at least one of those things happening for you to actually learn or absorb information. And the problem with that is that not all information is good information. And this goes down to, and what I talk about is basically like, you have to really unwash your brain, because society has done it to us at the lowest, at the very basic lowest level, from when we were children in kindergarten, pre-K, putting your hand, pledge allegiance to a flag you know nothing about its true history. Then they're telling us all this history that ain't either is bullshit, it's either whitewashed, left out, bullshit. It's just like a whole lot of shit that's just left out of history. Like when it comes to Thomas Jefferson, bro, I literally heard 3 different stories on Thomas Jefferson growing up. In elementary school, it was Thomas Jefferson signed the Declaration of Independence. He signed the Declaration of Independence. And then in middle school, Thomas Jefferson actually had slaves. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, slaves. Why didn't y'all tell us this back then in elementary school? I guess it was too controversial or whatever. And then in high school, it turned out Thomas Jefferson slept with his quote unquote quarter half sister or whatever, who was half white, half black, or like who mostly looked white, but like had some black in her, who was like one of his slaves, which is just like, what? So it was just like one of his, like, the daughters of one of his slaves, like long lost daughter. It's like a whole lot of shit. It's like, and then when I woke up in 2020, when I actually had like my whole awakening in 2020, after like everything, with the haha and the happened, can't even say it because fucking algorithm's gonna like put a banner up there about, have you gotten jabbed up or whatever. But basically, like, when I woke up, that's when I heard the story, like the thing about Thomas Jefferson saying every 20 years there should be a revolution in America, or like if there's not a change of democracy, government, the way things are run. Because like the way they set up things back in the 1700s and 1776 to be exact, they didn't account for fucking 300 years this shit still being the exact same way. And if anything, we just lost more rights. As times went on. It's just like wow. Wow. Because you lose your freedom by ounces, not like gallons. So I'm telling you, like, I mean, back in the day, like, example number 1 with 9/11. Back in the day before 9/11, people were hopping on planes like they hopping on buses. Like ain't no security, ain't nobody doing it, like, doing all these extra pat downs, all this security, all this surveillance. It all happened because this 9/11 thing. They all had the quote unquote excuse to get rid of your privacy. It's called the Patriot Act. Have cameras everywhere scanning all your whereabouts. Have all this scanning technology going through your personal belongings, looking at everything. And yes, I guess for some reason it can be good, but like the odds of an actual terrorist attack happening, because they scared the shit out of people with 9/11, the odds of that actually happening in America are very slim to none. It rarely ever happens, but they have this image etched in your brain to where it's like, motherfuckers scared as hell about anything that could look like a threat. But basically, it's just like, and during the Patriot Act, that's when the quote unquote, you know, Tom Brady, who's a quote unquote GOAT, I've talked about before, just goes on this run of winning championships for the who? The New England Patriots. The New England Patriots. You feel me? And then he just goes on winning championship by championship right after the Patriot Act was enacted in all airports around, you know, the country and I guess later on the world. So it's just like, bro, there's so much about 9/11 too. There's just so much bullshit, like how the building just collapses like a demolition. You have a building like right here. You have a plane going full force into it. Instead of the building, you know, part of it just, you know, like teetering like this way, it just goes, because apparently that's just how buildings work. But anybody who's done physics, anybody who's any type of civil engineer, major, anything like that, can tell you when a force comes against an object like this, it does not go like a demolition. It's just common sense. But like I said with Thomas Jefferson, man, I heard 4 different stories growing up as a kid. There's so much shit about our own history we still don't even know about. But they give us this regurgitated bullshit that our government tells us what they want us to know. Therefore, giving us the information that you read. And like going back to the whole, like how Shaq said, the 3 ways to manipulate someone is what they see, from what they see, hear, and read. So if you're reading this curriculum that's basically not the full story from such a young age, and you just grow up learning this bullshit and you become indoctrinated in this bullshit to believe that is nothing but the truth. It ain't the raw uncut truth. It's a fake truth. It's fake news, you feel me? And then like you grow up believing this, and it's gonna be etched in your brain to where you are brainwashed to believing this is like, it's church, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's fact. Ain't nothing around it. Ain't nothing like, you know, coming against that. You feel me? It's just like, what are we learning here? What are we learning? So you gotta really take it down layer by layer if you really want to learn. And then like also from what you see on the news, the TV, the biggest culprit of scaring the fuck out of people. The news, bro. The news is people's worst enemy, yet they are so damn addicted to it. They can't stay away. It's entertaining to see destruction. It's entertaining to see negativity. It's entertaining to keep that in your mind because it's the easiest thing to, like, you know, get a hold of you. It's so easy. It's so easy to be bogged down by negativity and all this stuff. So, and it's also very easy to get swayed by a bunch of people scaring the fuck out of you using fear tactics. It's very easy to get in that mode. So what I say is just you really have to think for yourself, bro. Like when you look at the screen on TV and they just showing out, oh, look at cases, oh, look at this. They're not showing you extra stats. They're not showing you percentages. They're not showing you percentages of deaths. They're just showing you this is how many cases we got. People just take that and run with it with fear for their lives and just hearing stories and he said, she said type thing. I mean, that's literally what the news has become. He said, she said, and people just saying, well, it's the news. They got a big network and they're worth a lot of money, so they got to be telling the truth. And then like your average American who's not even educated, I mean, it's just sad. Even the ones that are educated are even more indoctrinated to believe this. But the ones who aren't as educated, you don't even feel like qualified to even question it. So they're all like, well, they got the degrees. They got degrees, so they got to be telling the truth. It's crazy. It's crazy. You got to really understand like where it's coming from. So there you go. You got from what you see from the news, what you read from articles, like news, bullshit, fake news, and what you hear just he said, she said also goes in with the media and news. So it's all about what's and it's like at the end of the day you might be asking, well, hey, what's the solution? Do your own research. Do your own research. Stop relying on this propaganda, fake like this education system that has failed motherfuckers so many times. Stop relying on your whole education from public education system given to you from government, like government's just giving you their own, like the only shit they want you to know. They don't give you the full story. They give you parts of the story to get you to pass a certain, have a certain grade or whatever. It's not really teaching you to think for yourself. It's not really teaching you serious logic, critical thinking skills. If you want to build your own logic and critical thinking skills, you got to do that shit on your own. You got to self-educate. You got to really do it. But the way our education system set up is to where like it's so depressing to even learn shit. Ain't nobody trying to read no books. Hell, sometimes I gotta force myself to read a book because I just remember reading so much shit in school I did not give a fuck about. Like a lot of times, a lot of shit I just like did it just to, I had to. I didn't have a choice, and it didn't make learning that much fun. And like this is fun to me, learning some real shit that you can apply to life. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing like there are aspects of school that you can learn. Get your like time management skills done, like learning how to juggle certain things. That's just good for life in general. But at the same time, don't believe everything you hear, see, or read. Is the moral of the story. Do your own research, man. But hey, man, that's it, bro. I don't want to talk too long. This has been your boy L with the Dreads. You feel me? Nothing but facts. Where I just gave y'all nothing but the raw, uncut truth. You feel me? I'm gonna give y'all a little Denzel clip on the way out, bro. Be you, be true in all things that you do, man. I'm out of here, bro. I'm gonna see y'all. Peace. I'm gone.
A lot of buzz about this fake news. You were the subject of a fake news story.
Oh yeah, what they say? I was running for president. No, I voted. What they say?
You switched your support.
I switched.
Yeah.
What
do you make of all the fake news and it affects
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
So what do you do?
That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth, not just to be first, but to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it. Anything you practice, you'll get good at. Including BS.
You told me last night.
Okay. But you heard me? Does that make sense?
I hear it.